Hey everybody, Jochen Heiden here. I'm back with the December 28th combat replay. As you may have recalled from the last turn, I got my butt kicked and Lodrik really ambushed us near Burma, so I'm hoping for a little reprieve from the action this turn. Let's see what happens. Turn is live. Okay, so we just captured a dot base near Singapore due to just proximity. Well, he's continuing to push this battleship task force down south of um, down the southern. He's moving south along the west coast of Australia towards Perth, and this is going to continue to happen until he runs out of ammunition. What I did do this time around was I split up the task forces so that when he engaged the task force, it'd only have one ship in it at a time, kind of leaving behind a sacrificial lamb, if you will, because my cargo ships are not faster than his battleships, even though these are some of the slower ones that he has. They're still not fast enough to outrun this. So, unfortunately, there's nothing I can do but sacrifice some of these ships as he continues to push down the coast. Hopefully, he'll run out of ammo soon because he can't keep this up indefinitely. There's only so much ammo these guys carry. This ship is definitely a goner. Right. You know, he's firing a lot of torpedoes. He's firing a lot of shells. And he's wasting a lot of ammunition on single ships right now. Alright, so more of the same. Similar to last round here. We take 2 torpedoes, 6 shell hits, and that poor ship is sunk. Okay, that was a pretty uneventful evening turn pulse. Okay, no task forces unloaded. Dang it. I don't know how they're surprised. They should have seen this coming from a mile away. But you notice here these are AKLs, right? So once again, I split up my task force that was heading south, and I'm feeding him ships that unfortunately aren't worth a lot to me. I don't like to lose any ships at all. I don't want this, but these are 1 or 2 point ships that he's taking out right now, and they're not necessarily critical to my war effort. So he's firing a lot of shells. He's moving in a certain direction to engage these ships. Every time he does this, he's using up more ammo, and he's using up this ammo on ships that don't mean too much to me in the long run. So I hate it for the crews on these ships. I don't like the fact that they'll never go home to their families again. But the flip side of this is, if I had kept these together with the other ships, they'd all be going down. So I'm pretty sure I know how this is going to go. So let's go ahead and fast forward this, because there's no way these AKLs are going to hold up to this battering. Alright, there we go. So all 4 ships are sunk, but again, he's expending a lot of ammunition doing this. Okay, now it's time for some air operations. These are all spotting reports. Alright, it's fighter sweep. Huge raid at Loyang. Look at the size of that. Well over 100 aircraft here. We take a lot of casualties here. And the reason that we're taking so many is we're in reserve mode, and we're also in clear terrain. This is a massive bombing raid, so it's inevitable that we're going to take losses like this. unescorted bombing raid near Nanyang. Again, we take a lot of casualties, and this is surprising that it's so many. Granted, we have a lot of troops in that stack, but these are heavy, heavy casualties. I don't think this raid will be as bad on the flip side because the terrain here is very heavy. Right, see, much fewer casualties, thunderstorms, and bad terrain for bombing. Okay, so actually that raid was escorted. It was just the raid came in 2 pieces, so the escort didn't follow the entire thing. And this is mountain terrain here, so these units probably won't take much damage from this bombing. He's doing everything he can to slow us down on this road here. Another huge raid here. Well, no, this is not a huge raid, but when you piece together the 3 individual raids that came, this is pretty substantial. He committed probably over 100 aircraft to this stack. Oh, dang it. I'm going in for a port strike here, but he had some clods up. Clods aren't much, but they're enough to stop these crappy bombers here. We'll see if any of these get through. Let's see if any get through. Oh, yeah, we do get through. Wow, that flak is very heavy there. My goodness. So we accomplished nothing. And we have to go through the clods again. That was a waste of a raid. Yeah, I think we lost like more than 2 aircraft on this one. And didn't really accomplish much. But, you know, I do have bombers too. So. And we actually inflict a little bit of damage on the Japanese for once. So I send in some bombers here, 14 total SB3s, trying to slow his unit down because he is moving towards Cancien, and I'd like to slow that unit down a bit. So now we know what exactly we're dealing with here. We have a 102nd Infantry Regiment at least. We also have a recon regiment involved here. So that's going to be like an armored car, light armor unit, and an infantry regiment. So that gives us a pretty good idea of what he's coming at us with here. Uh-oh. Okay, well, he's got fighters. He's got fighters either at Rabang or Chiang Mai. That's not going to go well. So we lose 2 Blenheims there. And now we know he's got a cap established. Probably not the best way to use those Blenheims. He's really close to Perth now, isn't he? Okay, this is an airstrike on Kendari. It appears that he's looking to neutralize our naval search capability here. Okay, well, so the runway takes some hits. Does not appear that we're losing the aircraft in this bombardment, though, but it's time to move. I think if I have any aircraft base there, they need to find another home. And again, we have another bombardment on Ambon. We lose no aircraft, but he does hit the runways there. Yeah, that was a tough air phase for sure. Ah, gosh, dang it! It's just no way to get. I don't know how to get supply into these places here. All right, well, I guess if we damage the sub, that will do it. But and we're okay. So the I-175, who's been pestering us at Palmyra for weeks now, takes some damage, but at the cost of our ship that was unloading supplies there. I would not be surprised if you hear the ship sink. Oh, we it didn't sink, but we'll see. Hmm. So Dolphin, we were checking out things for ball, and his Unagi did spot it, and we take 2 hits. Okay, so a little bit of fortification coming up in some places. So it appears that there was absolutely no ground combat this turn whatsoever. None. We'll have to look and see what actually moved on his side, but there was no ground combat this turn. I've had worse turns for sure, but I would say that the air power situation in China is really becoming a nuisance because he's sending hundreds of bombers at me per turn, and I don't really have fighters to counter that. Huh. Okay. And we also know that his carriers are also in the move in the Dutch East Indies. Just some aircraft moving around. Nothing to see there. Okay, let's take a look at the intelligence now. Okay, I'm back with the intelligence report and the analysis of the situation. So we'll just get right to it with aircraft losses, which unfortunately today weren't too great. We lost a total of 9 aircraft versus his 2. Not a good ratio for me. All 3 of the Blenheim ones I used in the attack on that ground unit near Rabang were shot down. Right. And then we lost 3 A-29 Hudsons on a port strike, 2 to flak, 1 air-to-air. Lodrik's only losses today were ops losses of an Ida and a Babs. For all those 300 aircraft he used in China, only 1 ops loss out of those, maybe 2. That's impressive. We lose a PBY-5 to ops, which is hard to replace. Also a Dornier 24. And then, of course, wrapping up today, a DB3 was shot down as well on that ill-fated port strike. Man. Okay. So, for pilots, surprisingly low casualties for our pilots, given what transpired there. We had 1 missing in action, 1 wounded, and 2 KIA. So, a total of 3 irreplaceable pilots out of 9 aircraft shot down. Not too bad, considering. For ships sunk, unfortunately, not a great situation. So, looking at last turn, we lost, of course, those 5 cargo ships near Geraldton, which is on the west coast of Australia. I did my best to split up those task forces to give him more things to shoot at and less concentration, but he's just running amok out here right now, and we just don't have any way of stopping it. The Nicholas Van Vaughan was definitely a ship that I wanted to keep. This is a pretty decent cargo ship with good range, good speed, and good capacity, but I was not able to extract it. So real quick, looking at Japanese losses for all turns, we once again see the 3 destroyers come back. Kagero, Akigumo, Yugumo. At this point, I'm pretty well convinced that these are lost. I think we finally got these. The Naka I know for sure. I believe both of these we did sink. And it's still showing us that we have 3 enemy subs sunk so far. So I'm somewhat convinced that that's accurate. So, you know, it's showing a total of 21 ships sunk so far this campaign. There may be more, there may be less, but I think this is more or less accurate. So looking at aircraft coming in, we of course have the air wing of the Yorktown coming in with the Yorktown at San Diego tomorrow. We also have, okay, these rear arrays are just transferring. These aren't new aircraft. But we do have a squadron of Blenheim 4s coming in at Heiden tomorrow. So that'll be good. We can get those into, hopefully fly those into Burma and put them to use there. Canada's gaining these P-40s in 4 days. And in 6 days, we got a total of 4 P-40 squadrons. So a total of, what is this, 80 aircraft that we can get into the fight. These are aircraft that are not assigned to a, they're not assigned to a fight, to a headquarters that's restricted. So we can get these out into the fight quickly. So that's always a welcome thing. I have a feeling I know where they're going too. You know, you catching my drift? These guys are heading to probably Australia, where we need to be strong. And in 7 to 9, 10 days, we have a couple more aircraft coming in Aden. And in Khalat Jadi, in 10 days, we have a recon unit for the Dutch. These FK 51s should be a welcome addition to our organization, because we don't really have any good recon assets available right now. Short range might be a problem. Ground reinforcement schedule. We've got another unit coming in at Bandoeng. It's static, but that's okay, because that's where we're building our new fortress at. So I won't mind having another unit there that we can use. Singapore's getting an air HQ, which we totally don't need, because Singapore's days away from falling anyway. So that's just another unit that he's going to take out when he does invade. And also in a couple days, we have some more New Zealand units coming in onto the map, but they're restricted and they're not of particularly great value with the low assault value, so they will probably stay in New Zealand for defense. In Bataan, we have a couple constabulary battalions coming in. They may come in handy for the final stand, but I don't know how useful they're going to be. I believe there's engineer units, so they're only going to be good at defending, building up defenses. And again, in 3 days, we have quite a bit of forces coming onto the map. Some of them are dispatchable, some of them are not. Again, seeing the R here means that they're not a unit that I can move off a continent without paying political points for them. Anything that doesn't have that, I can get into the fight. So you can take a look at what we got coming on the map here. Definitely here in the next few days, these brigades coming into Ceylon are going to be a welcome sight. We could definitely use them for the defense of Ceylon if Lodrik intends to invade. And in 3 days, we have some more constabulary units coming in at Bataan. These ones are actually of some decent power. And then we have another Philippine Army Infantry Division coming in at Cagayan, which is definitely needed. This is a pretty substantial unit. It looks like it's got about 2,200 infantry, some guns. This is a welcome sight, and I'll be happy to have it aboard. So we will use this unit over at Malay. And yeah, I'll scroll down a little bit so you can take a look, but I'm not going to read off every single thing that's coming into play here. But I do see some welcome units coming in the next few days. Ship availability, last thing we'll check here. We do have the Yorktown coming in 1 day. And a few cargo ships in 1 day at Cristobal, which is, of course, down near Panama Canal. And a couple tankers, which we can use, but it'll take a while before we can get them into action. All right, so I think that's all we need to really be looking at here on the intelligence report. Taking a gander at the score, we're moving much closer to 1-1. 4-1 is what we need to avoid, or 3-1. Is it 3-1 or 4-1? I don't want to get anywhere near 4-1, but we're definitely inching closer to a 1-1 break here. And given that we've only been fighting for a month or less, I don't think we're doing too great. Yeah. So let's take a look at the situation that's going on. Let's start in Australia today, near Perth. Who knew that Perth was going to become so wild so fast? I feel like it wasn't a week ago that this task force was way over here near Timor, and now they're over here killing ships just north of Perth. We have these cargo ships here from the Dutch East Indies. I both have them running away. We can't go to full speed because we're low on fuel. And unfortunately, if you look at the detection level there, he has eyes on these. He also has eyes on this little AMC that I've got doing some ASW work. He sees this set of ships near Perth. So he can go, he's going to have to pick a direction to go in. He can either prey on this, prey on that, or prey on that, but he can't get all three. So one of these three task forces, I think, are going to be dead, but it remains to be seen which one he chooses to go for. I'm hoping he goes for one of these, because in the grand scheme of things, these ships aren't particularly valuable to me. They're very slow APs with low capacity. Same with this. These ships aren't overly great, so these ones are expendable, whereas this one is not as expendable. We have better ships in this unit. These ones I have moving towards Albany, because I seriously doubt he's going to continue pushing much further south than Perth. He's got to be low on fuel. He's definitely low on ammo. So he's probably got one more good day of combat in him before he has to turn around to rearm. So we'll see what happens with that. We have an inbound convoy here coming in from Cape Town. And I wanted this to go straight to Perth, but I have it steering far south and then diverting to Albany for the time being, because we can use the road network to get the supplies back in play later on. But if we do have confirmation that this unit moves north, we'll redirect this convoy back into Perth and we'll resume our logistics chain. So that's Australia. Over here in the Dutch East Indies, we have more problems. His carrier task force, which has the Akagi, the Kaga, and I believe the Zuiho at a minimum, is on the move. And we saw two massive port strikes this turn on Ambon and Kendari. Rather, not port strikes, but airfield attacks. He caused superficial damage. He did not, in fact, really hurt any aircraft that were on the field. I will be pulling these aircraft out of here. He also has struck Ambon, and again, did pretty minor damage considering. We did not shoot down any aircraft, but he also didn't take out any of ours. So all he did was waste a bunch of sorties, and I'm fine with that. Go ahead. Let's have a couple more of those while you're at it, Lodrik, because those attacks don't really do much to me. Unfortunately, he walked right through my subs because I had subs all around here trying to block him in, and he just sailed right past them, and his unit appears to be impervious to sub attack. I don't know why, but I'm going to keep directing my subs towards his carriers, but they keep missing. Maybe it's a matter of like the commander skill. The aggression 50, not that great. Aggression 70, now that's good. This commander wants something. Commander de Ruyter, he wants some payback for the namesake cruiser of his that got sunk a couple weeks ago. So we'll keep trying to vector some subs in to deal with this task force if we can. But given how ineffective our subs have been overall this campaign and how great his ASW work has been, I don't know if they're even going to be able to make contact. Elsewhere, everything's doing just fine here. We're going to build up our Fortress Bandoing. We've got everything constructing that we need to construct. Moving supplies, moving troops. We're going to have a sizable force of Bandoing, and that is mountain terrain, MT. So he will have a heck of a time trying to get us out of there once we're established. I'm also bringing in some. I'm actually bringing supply back into Java right now because we're just gonna keep it here at Bandoing. Why not? The only other issue I see here is the supply limit being 32,000. So we do need to be mindful of spoilage. So actually what I'm going to do here is set this to that so we don't go past that limit. And then we'll just have to find somewhere else to store supply in the meantime. Yeah, but everything else is doing okay. Looks like we have a... Oh, look at this. We have a small task force moving southeast, which would be maybe here. This might be an opportunity here. Keep an eye on that. Yeah, but that's where his carriers are at right now. That's the only other ships we have spotted in the area, other than some submarines, which we know are blockading this passageway. But yeah, so we'll keep an eye on that. One thing that I did start doing, because he gave me the opportunity, was I have supplies heading back into Mindanao. So we're going to start building up. Well, this is supply limit. We need to build up this airfield, and that will increase the supply limits there. We're going to continue building up Malay so we can make our stand there. Maybe also worthwhile putting some units here in the mountains as well, so we can split the supply that's available to both. Yeah, but we are going to be putting more supply onto Mindanao Island, since we plan on making a long stay of things here. I am currently in the process of airlifting this unit out of Zamboanga, and also bringing this division out of Ioleo, because I kind of need them here. So we're using our aircraft as time permits to transport these units off the island. It will take a while. I don't fully expect it to get entirely done, but we'll have enough of it so we can use it. So you see there's a fragment of it there. That's about what we moved last turn. And we have some more of it over here. So we're getting some troops out of that division. It'll be something worthwhile. Still no activity in Luzon. He's just waiting things out here at Clark and Baton. I don't know if he's ever going to attack until it's, until we're dead on a vine. So, in Burma, as you recall last turn, we were attacked right around here by one of his task forces. And this turn, we don't see it at anywhere. I don't think he's in the Bay of Bengal, because I have a unit at Port Blair that can reach pretty far. And I think we would be seeing some signs of detection. Right, look at this unit here. 0 detection. 0 detection. 0 detection. Right? So if he was moving this way, his scout planes would be detecting our aircraft, our ships, and we would see the detection level raise. Yeah, that's out of fuel. They're hoisting the sail and they're using paddles to get back in. I don't know what happened here exactly, but yeah, we need to. It's gonna take 11 days to get back to Ceylon at this rate. But I don't see any sign of the cruiser task force that he attacked us with. Maybe they're out of ammunition. What we do see is down here at Sabang. We have this unit here, which may or may not be the cruiser task force from last turn, or maybe it's something entirely new. We also have a unit sighted here, but these look to be patrol boats. So where exactly his cruisers got off to, we have not found yet, but we do have search assets in the area, and we're bringing in more every turn. As you can see, we do have some overlapping search vectors here. So we just need to find out where exactly they went, but, it's looking like they may have moved off. So does that give us a window of opportunity to get things back into Rangoon? Possibly. So we'll see what we can get into town while we can. Over here in Eastern Australia, we had a sub that went into Rabaul. He took a little damage here, but not too much. but we pretty much know what he's got here. He's got about a total of 7 ships in port, none of which appear to be carriers. That doesn't mean that they're not docked here. That doesn't mean that these aren't carrier aircraft here, but I don't see the actual flat tops. So what we're going to do here is try to get some more ships into Port Moresby while we can. Well, I'm going to spoon feed them in 1 or 2 at a time because Port Moresby's got a small dock. So we don't really have the port capacity to be... You know what? I think we need to switch this over. Fortifications are what they are, but I'll have more time to build these. If I got this port capacity to level 2, we can almost double the offload rate of the ships coming in. But yeah, so we're moving ships in very slowly with just a little trickle of supply to try to beef up Port Moresby while we have the opportunity. Because at any moment, the carriers can come back, and that's the end of that. But we have some time. And we have plenty of search... we have plenty of search capability at Luganville, at Cairns, and Port Moresby. So we would see them coming with about a full day's notice before he can actually strike. So we have some time, and we're going to take advantage of it. Out here in the South Pacific, one last thing I want to show you was at Pago Pago. Was it Pago Pago? No, Palmyra, which is over here. This dang I-175, the bane of my existence, the sub that has an endless supply of torpedoes, that's been attacking me for weeks at Palmyra, got another torpedo into another one of our cargo ships, right? And here it is, the Lida. This is not good. I would not be surprised if we lose this ship in the next turn. So what we're going to do here is we're going to cancel the unloading. We're going to move this ship into the port to hopefully help it try to put out some of this fire. So we're on fire right now, and if we don't get a handle on this by the next turn, this ship will burn to the ground. The flood damage will increase, the system damage will increase, and that'll be the end of that ship. We got some supply into Palmyra, not enough. We've lost several ships here alone, and at Canton and Baker, trying to get supply into these places, and it's just been a big pain. So I think that's basically it. I don't know if there's anything else you guys want to see, but that's what we got going on right now. Subs are a problem still. Kido Butai's on the move again. And we have a surface task force, which is hopefully low on fuel and ammo, but still a threat. And we have a missing carrier cruiser task force somewhere out here. We have a lot of stuff going on right now, and we don't have a lot of answers for it. So the next turn will be really interesting to see what transpires next. This one wasn't so great for us, but, you know, I could have been worse. Now that I think about it, here's the China situation. We suffered heavy air raids here. And I'm hoping now as we move away, he'll chill out with those a bit, or as we get into better terrain that's not this clear terrain, we'll stop suffering so many casualties, but it's definitely taking a toll. He's into Conscien now with an unknown unit size, and he's got another one coming in behind it. So the next turn will be very important for what's going to happen here. We do have a fort level of 2, but the terrain is really crappy. It's not very good for defending. So I am hoping that what we have in place will be enough, because if he breaks through here, we're going to have a big hole in our here, and it's going to be very difficult to get these units out of the area. He's really trying to trap units, and he's already done a good job of that here. I'm trying to save what I can down here. So, okay, I think I'm done for now. That's what transpired. If you have any questions, please ask. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.